Hello and welcome to the Cow Corner Dugout. And today's topic is, of course, Bangladesh's exit from the T20 World Cup. A lot of people are saying that, finally Bangladesh has stood up, created a line in the sand, stood up against the bullies, BCCI. A lot of opinions that are floating on the internet. And I just was asking myself, hey, wait, is that true? What were the sequence of events that probably led to this? Of course, it started with the BCCI, which was not very sure about Mustafizur, and that led to a whole series of events that have now led to Bangladesh wanting to not play the T20 World Cup in India. Pakistan are standing behind them in their support, like big brother of the opposition. So a lot of things have happened, but I'm trying to make sense of what exactly are the sequence of events and what's the truth here. So while say Bangladesh's World Cup exit is really not about just cricket, it's about India actually. India drawing a hard line in the sand. For years, we've always separated sport from politics, but what's happening? Whatever happened in like late 2024 and late 2025, specifically the hostilities against minorities, it just made business as usual impossible. Now let's get the nuance right. India did not ban Bangladesh. Unlike our refusal to travel to Pakistan for the Asia Cup, which was around March 2025, the BCCI never said don't come. They simply said we cannot host Mustafizur Rahman in the IPL given the current climate that is there. It's like a soft power move, not a blockade. Bangladesh actually ended up jumping the gun and them and then started to pull out. So the line in the sand that the BCCI or the Indian government is basically in a very soft manner trying to say is you cannot have unremitting hostility against Hindus at home and you even I think I recently even saw a video that said India out and a lot of campaigns in the crowd. So you're basically saying you can't do all this and then expect a red carpet welcome in Kolkata for the IPL. So that's all the BCCI essentially said, saying that we are ready to host you for the World Cup as per ICC norms because it's an event. A lot of people are watching. We're not trying to bring our politics into this, but for the IPL, which is probably a far, far bigger economic activity that is solely India, that India has the jurisdiction to decide whom to allow and not to allow. At least there, we're not going to pretend that everything is normal. So I think that way, this is the real crux of the matter here, and like it's a little tough. But when you compare this to Pakistan, like I remember Pakistan came to India back in 2023. We did host Pakistan at that point of time. We in fact went to the point of asking them which venues do they want to play. I remember them saying they don't want to play Chennai because Bangladesh could potentially beat them in Chennai with a. So not Bangladesh. This is Afghanistan could beat them in Chennai because they have better spinners. So we ended up listening to all of that, and the time it took to actually uh, uh, finalize the schedule was very very close. And I think we even changed the India Pakistan game. It was originally to happen on the 15th of October, then it got preponed by a day. Then there's local police also creating problems in terms of not being able to provide security due to festive season. But all of that was around the India Pakistan. That's between whatever we have with India and Pakistan. But as we hosted Pakistan in 2023, we offered the same to Bangladesh. Now the BCP, now what the Bangladesh Cricket Board has done is they're basically conflating a franchise league decision. For example, the Mustafizur KKR thing. Now conflating that with a national security threat. Now that's a diplomatic self goal, and I think that's where Bangladesh started to err. The whole what if is that had this flare happened 3 months ago or 6 months ago, maybe a hybrid model could have been done, which is essentially play their games in Sri Lanka. But BCCI might have even agreed to avoid this headache because it's a global event. It's not like an ICC is still a global body at the end of the day. But with the tournament just weeks away, like 2, 3 weeks away, the logistics are impossible because it's not just that Bangladesh's games need to be moved there. Whichever teams they are playing, which is either England or West Indies or Nepal or Italy, all of those games have to be moved there. So BCCI basically stood firm saying, boss, India is safe. You don't trust us, it's your choice. India stood up for itself without actually violating a single ICC statute. We didn't bar the door. They choose not to walk through it. It's a sad day for cricket fans, but a necessary reset for geopolitical dignity. And if you're asking, hey, what is this geopolitical dignity that I'm, potentially talking about, you need to understand that there were a lot of reports of violence against Hindu minorities in Bangladesh, and that was a central trigger for the Indian government's hardline stance, which also the BCCI, essentially, followed. But you should realize that sometime back, there was this Chinmoy Krishna Das, and he was an ISKCON monk, and his arrest on sedition was like a major turning point. India condemned this, while Bangladesh, called India's statement unfounded. A lot of violence happened, including like some garment workers, Hindu garment workers, temple vandalism, arson, and all of this happened in 2025. So the Indian government, and then you saw, I think, a video which had India out and a lot of jingoistic support that was going on, and all of this happened, I think, with the interim Bangladesh government, which is led by Dr. Yunus. So the BCCI and the Indian government view these communal attacks, and they're saying, okay, if this is how it's going to be, then we essentially don't want people who are doing this and who are wanting Indian money. So the relationship didn't break over one incident. It's been in free fall since August 2024, and since Sheikh Hasina's, once she fled to India, New Delhi's refused to extradite her. The current Bangladesh regime views India as protecting a dictator, while India views the new regime as enabling anti-India or anti-Hindu extremist elements. So the trust deficit is so high that both nations suspended regular visa services sometime in like December 2025, which is effectively cutting off like people to people contact. So this whole India out campaign that Bangladesh had, it gained massive ground, leading to boycotts of Indian products. And the BCCI felt that hosting a Bangladeshi player, which is like Mustafizur, was untenable when the Bangladeshi public was actively boycotting India. So it was more a decision to protect India's interests in the IPL. The World Cup is a global event which happens to be, played in India. So yeah, usually cricket is insulated from politics, but not this time. The BCCI used the IPL as a diplomatic weapon because the relationship break was fairly evident. So it instructed KKR to release Mustafiz, and BCCI just sent a signal that you cannot have these India out campaigns, persecution of Hindus, and then expect to earn millions in the Indian Premier League. Now, there is genuine anger, in Kolkata regarding the violence across the border. Security agencies fear that Mustafizur's presence in KKR, which is like a Kolkata-based team, could spark protests or violence at Eden Gardens. And we know it's not like we're not strangers to violence in Kolkata. It happens right now, even under the current government, where we're seeing a lot of, whenever an election gets over, we see violence there. And generally, violence at Eden Gardens is something we've grown up with in like 1996, 1999. When I went there for the test match this year, when India lost, luckily there was no violence. But yes, I think a whole generation has grown up in violence. So yeah, I think it was the little incident with Mustafizur was essentially India drawing a line in the sand. They're effectively saying normal sporting relationships, including the IPL and guaranteeing security, cannot exist while safety of Hindus in Bangladesh remains under threat as such. So yeah, I think that's the little point that I wanted to make, trying to understand where is this going, and what's the current stance that the BCCI has taken. But yes, that's a little thought that I had. In case you felt there were other points that you wanted to comment on or have a discussion on, looking forward to listening more. Thank you. Till then, see you around.